Hello everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to my all Dragonborn unique loot within Skyrim. This guide will showcase and explain how to get all unique loot within the Dragonborn DLC. As always, there are timestamps in the description if you wish to skip to a particular item, but without further ado, let's get into the video. First up, we'll start with all the unique items you can get just from playing through the main DLC story. First up is the Black Book, Waking Dreams. This book is acquired when doing the story quest, Temple of Miraak. Head into the temple, fight your way through, and at the very end of the temple will be the book. You won't be able to activate this book's unique power until you finish the main story DLC. Next up is the Black Book, Epistolary Acumen. This book is acquired when doing the main story quest, The Path of Knowledge. Speak to Neloth where you will travel to Nechardak.
You refer to the tomes of esoteric knowledge that old Hermaeus Mora has scattered throughout the world? It seems the ancient Dwemer discovered this book and took it to study. I found their reading room in the ruins of Nechardak. The book is there, but it's sealed in a protective case, which I wasn't able to open.
After restoring steam power to the ruin, you can acquire the book from its protective casing.
At last, I hope it was worth it. Please, be my guest.
Oh good, be sure to say hello to Hermaeus Mora for me if you see.
After traversing to the end of the Apocrypha section, you will have a choice of 3 powers. The first is Dragonborn Force. This effect will increase the damage your unrelenting Force Shout deals and it has the chance to disintegrate enemies. The second ability is Dragonborn Flame. This effect will summon a fireworm to fight for you for 60 seconds when your Fire Breath Shout kills an enemy. The final effect is Dragonborn Frost. This effect will encase any enemy in ice when hit with your Frost Breath Shout. This effectively turns your Frost Breath Shout into the Ice Form Shout. This is much more useful however than Ice Form, as it does not break ice after one hit, making it much more useful. The final items you can acquire within the main story is Miraak's weapons and armor.
Did you think to escape me, Miraak? You can hide nothing from me here.
These can be acquired after defeating Miraak at the summit of Apocrypha. After he is defeated, you can loot the items from his corpse. The first item is Miraak's Mask. The mask you can acquire will depend on both the player's level and whether the player's light or heavy armor is higher. Your light or heavy armor will influence whether the mask is considered light or heavy armor. The player's level will also influence both the armor rating and the enchantment power the mask has. To acquire the best mask, the player must be at least level 60 or higher. This will spawn the mask with an armor rating of 27 and will have the enchantment of increasing your magicka by 70 points. Next up is Miraak's armor set, including his robes, gloves and boots. Miraak's robes are considered light armor and have an armor rating of 0 and a weight of 1. The robes also have the enchantment which will allow the player to absorb 15% of a spell or dragon shout when hit with one. The robes also have a chance to spawn a tentacle explosion when hit, causing 12 points of damage. Miraak's gloves are light armor and have an armor rating of 7 and a weight of 1.5. The gloves also increase the spell absorption enchantment of Miraak's robes by 5% when worn together. Miraak's boots are considered light armor and have an armor rating of 11 and a weight of 2. The boots also increase the spell absorption enchantment of Miraak's robes by 5% when worn together. Next up is Miraak's sword. This is its own unique sword and has different versions depending on the player's level. The player's level will affect how much damage this sword does. The highest level sword at player level 60 or above will deal 16 points of damage, however all versions have the same weight of 3 and the same enchantment. The sword will also absorb 15 points of stamina from a target upon a hit. Next up is Miraak's staff. This is its own unique staff and has different versions depending on the player's level. The player's level will affect how much the staff is worth to sell. The staff will allow you to spray and summon a sea of tentacles which will deal 20 points of damage, stagger them and also poison the targets inside. Next up are the items you can acquire within Colbjorn Barrow. To gain access to the Barrow, you will need to speak to Rallis Sidaris outside the Barrow, where you will need to invest 11,000 gold in total to excavate the entirety of the Barrow and to access all the items.
What? Are you serious?
Well, I think I could make that work.
We can sort out the details of our little arrangement later.
But for now, I'll manage the dig if you can manage the coin. Do you have the gold?
After paying Rallis, the fastest way to get a letter to then be able to access various levels of the Barrow is to fast travel to somewhere like Raven Rock, go into any building, wait 72 hours, and once you leave the building, the courier will be right outside and will give you the letter. Before we begin, it's worth noting that equipping 4 of Ahzidal's artifacts will grant the player the Ahzidal's Genius effect, increasing the player's enchantment skill by 10 points. During your first visit, the first item you can acquire is Ahzidal's Boots of Waterwalking. Head through the main entrance and remove a skull from a button on a table to open the next section of the Barrow. Just past the door will be the boots on a small pedestal. The boots are considered heavy armour and have an armour rating of 14 and a weight of 9. The boots also have the unique effect of allowing the player to walk on any water source such as rivers and the sea itself. Next up is Ahzidal's Ring of Necromancy. This ring can be found during your second visit to the Barrow. Start at the main entrance hall, head down and through the lower excavated hallway. Head forwards and pull the chain to open a path to the right. Head into the room that just opened and pull the next chain. Next head back to the room you were just in and continue left up some stairs. Follow the hallway, head up some more stairs to the room with the sacrificed miners. Head past them to a wall on the opposite side, turn around and lower down on a wall will be a handle. Pull it to reveal another room and inside on a pedestal will be the ring. The ring is a gold sapphire ring and has the unique enchantment of when your reanimated corpses take damage, the corpse explodes for 50 points of frost damage. Next up is Ahzidal's Gauntlets of Warding and Ahzidal's Ring of Arcana. These 2 items can be found during your third visit to the Barrow. Start from the sacrifice miners that you found previously and make your way down to the lower floor with the chains you've already pulled. Head through the left hand corridor that has been excavated and pull the chain in that room. Turn back around and make 2 rights, and in a room with the chain you will see another section of the room has opened. Inside on a pedestal will be the gauntlets. The gauntlets are considered heavy armour and have an armour rating of 14 and a weight of 6. The gauntlets also have the unique effect of allowing your ward spells to absorb 50% of the magicka from spells, but comes at the cost of making your ward spells 25% less effective. Next for the ring, continue further down into the mine that has been excavated using the long set of stairs going down. Follow the path until you get into a room with a locked gate on the left and a load of pressure plates in the centre of the room. Step on each of the pressure plates to open the gate, and inside on a pedestal will be the ring. The ring is a gold diamond ring and has the unique enchantment of allowing you to cast the 2 unique destruction spells Ignite and Freeze. Ignite is an apprentice level destruction spell that deals 4 points of damage per second over 15 seconds. This spell is essentially a more powerful version of the Firebolt spell. Freeze is an apprentice level destruction spell that does 20 points of frost damage to a target's health and stamina and also slows the target for 15 seconds. The spell is essentially a more powerful version of the Ice Spike spell. During your final visit to the Barrow, there are a few different items you can get. First up is Ahzidal's Armour of Retribution. Head back down using the same path that you were using to get the ring, but instead of turning right, turn left into the next excavated part of the Barrow. Turn each pillar to the whale and use the lever which will open up the gate to the armour. The armour is considered heavy armour and has an armour rating of 40 and a weight of 38. The armour also has the unique enchantment of having a 5% chance of paralysing a target upon being hit. The paralysis will last for 7 seconds, making groups of enemies much easier to deal with. Next up is Ahzidal's Helm of Vision. Starting from the place where you got the Armour of Retribution, take the great stairs down into the burial crypt, and on the right hand side will be a locked gate leading to the helmet. Turn both pillars to the snake and pull the chain to unlock the gate. Inside will be the helmet. The armour is considered heavy armour and has an armour rating of 19 and a weight of 6. The armour also has the unique enchantment of allowing the player to cast rune and conjuration spells at a greater distance, but comes at a cost of them being 25% more expensive to cast. Next up is Ahzidal's Mask. This is a unique Dragon Priest mask and can be found at the very end of the Barrow. Upon reaching the end, Rallis will summon Ahzidal, where you will then need to kill him.
Ahzidal, arise!
Once he is defeated, you can loot the mask from his corpse. The armour is considered heavy armour and has an armour rating of 23 and a weight of 9. The armour also has the unique enchantment of increasing the player's fire resistance by 50% as well as increasing their fire spell damage by 25%. Next up is Hoarfrost. This is a unique ancient Nordic pickaxe and can be found at the very end of the Barrow. After Rallis has summoned Ahzidal and you defeat him, you will have the choice to either kill or spare Rallis. You can acquire Hoarfrost either by recruiting him as a follower and taking the weapon from his inventory, or killing him in the Barrow and taking it from his corpse.
What? No, you can't. I have his will on my side. He will...
Hoarfrost has identical stats to that of a normal ancient Nordic pickaxe, however comes with an enchantment of dealing 15 points of frost damage to a target's health and stamina. Furthermore, the weapon has a small chance of freezing a target solid upon a hit. The final item in the Barrow is the Black Book Filament and Filigree. This book can be found at the very end of the Barrow. After killing Ahzidal and deciding Rallis' fate, you can head through a side tunnel into the shrine of Hermaeus Mora, and on a pedestal will be the book. After traversing to the end of the Apocrypha section, you will have the choice of 3 powers. The first is Secret of Strength. Upon taking this power and activating it, power attacks will cost 0 stamina for 30 seconds. The second power is Secret of Arcana. Upon taking this power and activating it, spells will cost 0 magicka for 30 seconds. The third and final power is Secret of Protection. Upon taking this power and activating it, the player will take half damage for 30 seconds. Next up are the items you can acquire from Raven Rock. First up is the Blackguard Armor Set. This is a unique version of the Thieves Guild armor set and can be found at Raven Rock. Be aware that you must be a member of the Thieves Guild back in Skyrim in order to be able to acquire this armor. Head to Raven Rock and offer to help Glover Mallory with retrieving his bone mold formula that was lost.
A fellow Breton who went by the name Esmond Tyne showed up on my doorstep about a fortnight ago. He noticed the shadow marks like you did, and I thought he was one of us. That he did, right out from under my nose. Can you believe it? It's my own formula for improved bone mold. Took me years to perfect. You do that, and I'll make sure you're set up right. You won't be disappointed.
Return the formula to Mallory where he will give you a key to his house basement.
I told him not to head up there. Sounds like the bloody fool got what he deserved. Here, I want you to take this key. Head inside my house and unlock the door in the basement. Help yourself to whatever you like inside. I won't be using it anymore.
Inside will be the armor set. The Cuirass has an armor rating increase from 29 to 33 but has the same weight of 7. The Cuirass also increases the player's carrying capacity by 50 points, which is double that of the Thieves Guild armor. The gloves have a decrease in armor rating from 9 to 8 and have an increase in weight from 1 to 2. However, the gloves come with a fortify lockpicking enchantment, making locks 40% easier to pick. The boots have an armor rating increase from 9 to 13 but comes at the cost of a tiny weight increase from 1.5 to 2. The boots also come with the fortify pickpocket enchantment, making pickpocket success chances 40% higher. Finally, the hood has an armor rating increase from 13 to 18 but comes at the cost of a tiny weight increase from 1.5 to 2. The hood also comes with the fortify barter enchantment, making prices 25% better. Next up is the Temple Priest armor set. These are the only unique items and can be found within the Raven Rock Temple. Head into the temple where the items are either worn by Elder of Reloth and Goldrus. Goldrus will have the hood but both of them will have the robes and the shoes. You will either need to pickpocket the items off of them with the pickpocket misdirection perk or by reverse pickpocketing them. The shoes and hood have no enchantment and have an armor rating of 0. The robes also have an armor rating of 0, however have the enchantment of increasing the player's magicka regeneration by 75%. The final item is the Exquisite Sapphire. This is its own unique item and you must have access to Glover Mallory's basement before you can acquire this item. Once you have access, head back into the basement and loot Glover's letter. Head back to Skyrim, head into the Thieves Guild and give the letter to Sapphire, which she will then give you the item as a reward. The Sapphire is the only one of its kind, however looks identical to a flawless sapphire and has a value of 5,000 gold.
I can't believe it. All those years on the farm and my mother never told me about any of this. Words can't even begin to describe how much I appreciate you bringing this to me. Here, take this. I used to carry it for good luck, but I think you deserve it more than I do.
Next up are the items you can acquire from Bloodskal Barrow. To gain access to the Barrow, head into the Raven Rock mine, speak to Cressius and offer to help him, where he will then give you the key to the mine which leads into the Barrow. First up is the Bloodskal Blade. This is its own unique two-handed greatsword and is needed to progress the quest for Cressius to get through the Barrow. After making your way into the mine, near the corpse of Cressius' grandfather will be the blade. The blade has a damage of 21 and a weight of 16. The blade also has the unique effect of firing an energy blast during a power attack in the direction of the slash, dealing 5 points of additional damage. Next up is Zahkriisos. This is a unique Dragon Priest mask and can be acquired after defeating the Dragon Priest Zahkriisos. Make your way through the end of the Barrow, defeat him, and on his corpse will be the mask. The mask is considered heavy armor and has an armor rating of 23 and a weight of 9. The mask also has the enchantment of increasing the player's shock resistance by 50% and the player's shock spell damage by 25%. The final item in the Barrow is the Black Book, The Winds of Change. The book can be found at the end of the Barrow after killing the Dragon Priest. Head through the corridor in the back and just before the exit on a pedestal will be the book. After traversing to the end of the Apocrypha section, you will have the choice of 3 powers. The first is Scholar's Insight. Upon taking this power and activating it, reading any skill books will increase a player's skill by 2 instead of 1. The second is Companion's Insight. Upon taking this power, the player's attacks, shouts and destruction spells deal no damage to any companions. The third and final power is the Lover's Insight. Upon taking this power, the player does more damage and has better prices from those of the opposite sex to the player. Next up are the items you can acquire from the White Ridge Sanctum. The first item is Dukaan. This is a unique Dragon Priest mask and can be acquired after defeating Dukaan. Make your way through the end of the Barrow, defeat him, and on his corpse will be the mask. The mask is considered heavy armor and has an armor rating of 23 and a weight of 9. The mask also has the enchantment of increasing the player's frost resistance by 50% and the player's frost spell damage by 25%. The final item in the Barrow is the Black Book, The Sallow Regent. This book can be found at the end of the Barrow after killing Dukaan. Head just behind Dukaan's sarcophagus and on a pedestal will be the book. After traversing to the end of the Apocrypha section, you will have a choice of 3 powers. The first is Seeker's Power. Upon taking this power and activating it, all players' combat skills are 10% more effective. The second is Seeker of Sorcery. Upon taking this power and activating it, all spells cost 10% less magicka to cast and all the enchantments become 10% more powerful. The third and final power is Seeker of Shadows. Upon taking this power and activating it, all players' stealth skills are 10% more effective. Next up is the Deathbrand Armor Set. This armor set is scattered throughout several locations and can only be acquired by starting the quest Deathbrand. To start the quest, read the book Deathbrand that can be found within several locations and you have to be at least level 36 to start it. Once started, head to Hackney's Shoal, kill the pirate lord there, and on his corpse will be the map showing where each piece is buried. First up is the Deathbrand Helmet. This item piece can be found right next to where you took the treasure map from the pirates. Open the ancient chest and inside will be the piece. The armor is considered light armor and has an armor rating of 16.5 and a weight of 2. The helmet allows you to breathe underwater, and if all Deathbrand armor pieces are equipped, will increase the player's armor rating by 100. Next up are the Deathbrand Boots. Start at Tel Mithryn and head a short ways west where you will find ash spawns guarding an ancient chest. Kill them and loot the chest for the boots. The armor is considered light armor and has an armor rating of 11.5 and a weight of 2. The boots also have the unique enchantment of increasing the player's carry weight by 10 for every piece of Deathbrand armor they equip. Next up is the Deathbrand Cuirass. Make your way to the Earthstone and start heading north until you come across a group of reavers. Between some trees will be the chest and inside will be the armor piece. The armor is considered light armor and has an armor rating of 39 and a weight of 7. The armor also has the unique enchantment of increasing the player's stamina by 15 points for every piece of Deathbrand armor they equip. The final armor piece is the Gauntlets. Start at the Bristleback Cave and head south along the beach until you get to some Reeklings. Kill them, and near them will be the chest. Inside will be the gauntlets as well as the key to the Gildenhall Barrow. The armour is considered light armour and has an armour rating of 11.5 and a weight of 2. The gauntlets also have the unique enchantment of your damage being increased by 10% for every piece of Deathbrand armour they equip when dual wielding. Next up are the items you can acquire from Gildenhall Barrow. There are only 2 weapons in the Barrow that you can get, and you can get them both together. The 2 items are Bloodscythe and Soulrender. Both of these weapons are unique scimitars and can be acquired at the end of the Barrow. First, make your way to the end of the Barrow, and near the corpse of Hackney will be Bloodscythe. Immediately after picking up the weapon, the ghost of Hackney will spawn. Defeat him, and on his corpse will be the weapon Soulrender. Both of these weapons deal 13 points of damage and have a weight of 10. Both of these weapons have increased effectiveness when wielded together. Bloodscythe, when wielded with Soulrender, will absorb 15 points of health and has a chance to cause an explosion, decreasing an enemy's armour by 50 for 15 seconds. Soulrender, when equipped with Bloodscythe, will absorb 15 points of magicka and has a chance to dispel magical defences such as armour spells, wards, invisibility, cloak spells and healing spells. Next up are the werewolf rings. There are 4 rings in total, and each one grants a unique effect to the player when their werewolf form is in. Bear in mind that you must be a werewolf to acquire these rings. Head to Frostmoon Crag and speak to Magni. The Ring of Bloodlust is a silver ring and has the unique enchantment of increasing the damage of your attacks in beast form by 50%, but comes at the cost of you taking 50% more damage. The Ring of Instinct is a silver amethyst ring and has the unique enchantment of slowing down time when you enter beast form for 20 seconds. The Ring of the Hunt is a silver ruby ring and has the unique enchantment of increasing your health regeneration when in beast form. The final ring, the Ring of the Moon, is a silver garnet ring and has the unique enchantment of allowing your howl powers to last 25% longer. Next up is the Champion's Cudgel. This is its own unique weapon and can be acquired during the quest March of the Dead. Head to the Old Atius farm and save Captain Valeth from an Ashbourne attack. Offer to help him, or he will send you to Fort Frostmoth to kill General Falxkerius.
I need you to head out to Fort Frostmoth and check it out. I'm gonna head back to Raven Rock and prepare the men for further assaults.
Defeat the general, and on his corpse will be the weapon. The weapon has a damage of 24 and a weight of 27. The weapon also has the unique chaos damage enchantment, which gives the weapon a 50% chance for each element to deal 25 points of damage. Next up is the Glassbow of the Stag Prince. This is a unique glass bow and can be found at the Ramshackle trading post. Wait until midnight from any location and then head into the trading post where you will find Falas. You can sometimes purchase the weapon from him, but more often than not you will need to either pickpocket the weapon from him using the pickpocket perk Misdirection or reverse pickpocket him. The bow has a slight damage increase from 15 to 16 but has a weight of 14. The bow also comes with the unique enchantment of increasing the player's health and stamina by 5 for every 20 animals killed with the bow. This has a max value of 25 points by killing 80 animals with the bow. Next up is Stormfang. This is a unique steel greatsword and can be found at Brodeer Grove. Head to the location, kill the Reaver Lord in the area, and on his corpse will be the weapon. The weapon has identical stats to that of a normal steel greatsword, however bears a shock damage enchantment. The weapon deals 30 points of shock damage as well as half of much magicka damage. Next up is the Visage of Mzund. This is a unique dwarven helmet and can be found at Falbfars. Head to the Dwarven Ruin and make your way all the way to the end and enter the treasure room. Inside on the table will be the helmet. The helmet has identical stats to that of a normal dwarven helmet but comes with both an enchantment and grants the player a power. The helmet has a Fortify Stamina enchantment increasing the player's stamina by 60 points. The helmet also grants the player to use a steam attack by using up your stamina bar. The steam does 15 points of damage per second and is similar to the steam attack that Dwarven Centurions use. Next up is the Dwarven Black Bow of Fate. This is a unique Dwarven bow and can be found at Kagrimmers. Before acquiring the weapon you are going to need 4 Kagrimmers Resonant Stones in order to get the weapon. The first 2 can be found within the ruin itself. Head into the ruin and kill the Reavers inside. On the Reaver Lord's corpse will be the first 2. The third can be found in the Visage of Mzund previously discussed at the end of the ruin. The The fourth can be purchased from Reaver Serrani at Tel Mithryn. Start at Tel Mithryn and head a short ways west, talk to him and then purchase the stone from him. Once you have the 4 stones, head back to the ruin. In the centre will be a podium with 9 slots for the stones to be placed. There are 3 patterns you need to complete, and each one is done you will need to kill a wave of enemies that spawn. The first pattern to place the stones in is as follows, centre left and bottom right. The second pattern is top centre, bottom centre and bottom right. The third and final pattern is top left, centre and bottom right. Once all patterns have been done, you can head straight to the treasure room, and inside on a pedestal will be the weapon. The weapon has a damage of 13 and a weight of 10. The weapon also bears a unique enchantment that gives the player a 50% chance for each attribute to absorb 25 points of a target's health, stamina and magicka. Next up is Hawksbane. This is a unique steel mace and can be found on Hawker Island. Head to the island and just a short way to the left from where you spawn on the ground next to the body of Saidan will be the weapon. The weapon has identical stats to that of a normal steel mace, however has its own unique enchantment. The weapon was also meant to deal an additional 20% of damage to Hawkers, however due to a bug the enchantment does not work on vanilla Skyrim. If you have the unofficial Skyrim patch mod installed however, it fixes the enchantment and works as normal. Next up are the items you can acquire at Tel Mithryn. First up is the Black Book, The Hidden Twilight. You will need to complete the side quest Reluctant Steward for Neloth. Ask him how you can help, where he will ask you to find him a new steward. Before finding a new steward, you will need to first learn the first word of Bend Will and need to cleanse the Earthstone.
Well, find her. Tell her I want apple cabbage stew with some canis root tea.
Once done, head back to Raven Rock and enter the Retching Netch. Speak to Drovus Relfir and he will accept a new position.
You mean leave Raven Rock for good? To go work for a crazed Telvanni wizard? Sure, just let me get me things.
Head back to Neloth and he will give you the key to his staff enchanter room.
Oh, and you may use my staff enchanter if you want.
Inside on an enchantment table will be the book. After traversing to the end of the Apocrypha section, you will have a choice of 3 powers. The first is Mora's Agony. Upon taking this power and activating it, you will gain the power to summon a field of tentacles which will poison any target walking through for 30 seconds. The second is Mora's Grasp. Upon taking it and activating it, you will gain the power to make a target ethereal, which you will cannot damage them and they cannot damage you for 30 seconds. This is similar to the Become Ethereal Shout that has the same effect on the player. The third and final power is Mora's Boon. Upon taking it and activating it, your health, magicka and stamina fully restores. You can only use this power once a day however. The final item from Tel Mithryn are the Telvanni Robes. Be warned that for some reason if you have the unofficial Skyrim patch mod installed, it removes the robes and makes it so you cannot acquire them. Before acquiring the robes, you will need to start the quest Old Friends, but will need to finish the side quest Briarheart Necropsy for Neloth. Once done, he will task you with finding and killing his old apprentice Ildari at High Point Tower.
Yes, I have enemies, legions of them back in Barrow. Could it be? Could Ildari still be alive? Could she be my nemesis?
Head there, defeat Ildari, and on her corpse will be the Telvanni Robes. The robes have their own unique set of clothes and have an armor rating of 0 and a weight of 2. The robes also increase the player's magicka regeneration by 75%. Next up is the Black Book Untold Legends. This is the final Black Book and can be found at Ben Conquerique. Head through the dungeon and at the end inside a Hermaeus Mora shrine on a pedestal will be the book. After traversing to the end of the Apocrypha section, you will have the choice of 3 powers. The first is Black Market. Upon taking this power and activating it, you will gain the ability to summon a Dremora who you can trade with. The second is Secret Servant. Upon taking this power, you will be able to summon a Dremora Butler who you will be able to carry any items you need. The third and final power is Bardic Knowledge. Upon taking this power, you will be able to summon a Spectral Drum that will play. This will increase the player's and the player's allies' stamina regeneration. The final category are all the new spells you can acquire in the DLC. To find almost all of these, you can head to Tel Mithryn and speak to Telvus to purchase the spells from him. Be aware that some spells won't be available until you finish certain side quests, mainly from Neloth. First up is Ash Rune. This is an expert level alteration spell and can be bought from Telvus after finishing the side quest from the ashes from him. The spell allows you to cast the rune like any other rune spell, however when an enemy triggers the rune it will encase them in ash for 30 seconds, immobilizing them and thus will be unable to attack. The player will also be unable to attack them until the spell wears off. The spell will not work on certain enemies however, such as dragons and ash spawns. Next up is Ash Spell. This is an adept level alteration spell and can be bought from Telvus after finishing the side quest from the ashes from him. The spell functions almost identically to the Ash Rune spell mentioned before this one, however allows you to fire it at enemies at range rather than placing a rune. Next up is Bound Dagger. This is a novice conjuration spell and can be bought from Telvus. This allows you to summon a spectral Daedric dagger to use for 2 minutes, however you can unequip it by sheathing the weapon. Next up is the Conjure Ash Guardian. This is an expert level conjuration spell and can be bought from Telvus after finishing the side quest from the ashes from him. You will need a Heartstone in your inventory in order for the Guardian to be friendly and fight for you. Without one it will attack anything including the player. Next up is Conjure Ash Spawn. This is an adept level conjuration spell and can be bought from Telvus after finishing the side quest Telvanni Research. The spell allows you to conjure an Ash Spawn to fight for you for 60 seconds. Next up is Conjure Seeker. This is an adept level conjuration spell and your conjuration skill must be at least level 40 or above. Once it is, the spell tome can be found in the Apocrypha via the Black Books. They're not very hidden and you will most likely just come across one as you traverse through Apocrypha. The spell allows you to conjure a Seeker to help you in battle for 60 seconds. Next up is the Frenzy Rune. This is an adept level illusion spell and can be bought from Telvus after finishing the side quest from the ashes from Telvus. The spell allows you to place a rune like normal on the ground which when triggered will frenzy NPCs at a level 20 or below for 30 seconds. Next up is the Poison Rune. This is an adept level restoration spell and can be bought from Telvus after finishing the side quest from the ashes. The spell allows you to place a rune like normal on the ground which when triggered will poison NPCs. This will deal 3 points of damage per second for 60 seconds. Next up is Whirlwind Cloak. This is an adept level destruction spell and can be bought from Telvus after finishing the side quest Wind and Sand for Neloth. The spell works like other cloak spells, however will fling NPCs away from the player if they get within melee distance and can even damage them if flung hard enough. The final magic and unique item is Summon Karstag. This is a unique power which when acquired can only be used 3 times in the entirety of your playthrough and cannot be relearned. Head to the Glacial Cave and at the end of the cave embedded in the ice will be the Skull of Karstag. Take it and head into the Castle Karstag. Place the skull on the throne which will summon the ghost of Karstag. Kill him and you will learn the power. And there we have all the unique loot within the Dragonborn DLC. I hope you found this video helpful and as always thank you for watching.